There was something up there, and I could feel it was evil.
I fell forward.
Excuse me, why did you push me?
Then he went through the door.
Help me.
When I realized what I was seeing wasn't human, the hair in the back of my neck stood up.
I'm saying, nope, nope, this isn't happening. I'm not seeing it.
I was afraid. Is this thing gonna get more aggressive? Is it gonna start doing something physical?
This guy wasn't human. My heart was pounding. I was sweaty. I was terrified.
On the western shores of Lake Ontario, in a remote psychiatric hospital, retired Special Forces soldier Rob Simpson has begun a career as a security guard.
I was a member of the Canadian Armed Forces, Special Service Force, seen a lot of action, was wounded on several occasions, including gunshot wounds, knife wounds from hand-to-hand combat. They no longer needed me because I was injured. I couldn't do my work, so I became a civilian.
Rob's military training makes him ideal for potentially difficult patients.
You had your handful. You'll have people with depression, schizophrenia. We have criminally insane. You had to patrol every floor. You had to secure that building and ensure nobody was in there. You could get creeped out in a hurry. Many a building I'd go around and the hairs are standing up. I'm an ex-soldier. I thought nothing scared me. But my year at that psychiatric hospital taught me what fear truly was, and I had to rely on my training to keep myself in the game.
On my way.
Rob responds to a call to back up a fellow officer.
Make him stop! Go! Oh, make
The nature of these people was they could turn violent fast.
Quiet down!
Oh, I can't take it.
Just tie his arms down.
Okay, come here.
And you're not dealing with the strength of one, you're dealing with the strength of 10. It is very hard to control these people once they go into a rage.
It's been going on for days.
What's he talking about?
It won't stop. It's up there. Can't you hear him?
You keep saying that there are noises in the attic.
What noises?
It's so damn
I don't
loud.
know.
Those noises. Right now. Get that guy. Get
Relax.
Those I can't relax.
Calm down.
Make it stop.
What the hell is that?
Make it stop.
That banging wasn't normal.
Oh, make it stop.
Okay, we gotta go check that out. We gotta go check that out, whatever that is.
Oh.
Calm down,
We're gonna make
check
it
out.
stop.
Figured I'm gonna have to go up and see what this is.
Just relax, relax.
With the patient calm enough to be left alone, Rob and the other officer head upstairs to find the source of the sounds.
This is where it's coming from. We gotta go up, check it out.
Rob enters the dark stairwell leading to the hospital attic.
And the whole time you feel like something's watching you. And you're on guard, you're on alert, you're like, what is going to happen? What is happening here? This feeling, you're not alone. You'd see something out of the corner of your eye, but you couldn't quite make out what it was.
think it stopped.
Yeah, I don't hear it now.
As I'm coming up the stairs, and I can see the floor and then the attic door.
Look at this. It's been torn clear apart.
On the floor is a broken padlock.
It's ripped right out of the door.
There was an attic door, and no one would be given access to it. It was an empty storage space.
I don't like the look of this.
Rob is now on high alert for an intruder.
Check it out.
I approached the door. I slowly opened it.
If an intruder or a patient broke into the attic, they are no longer there.
There was a few old beds, there was some boxes, there was nothing else.
There's nothing here.
Where the hell's the banging coming from? You heard it.
I don't know what I heard, but there's nothing here.
After installing a stronger lock, Rob finishes his shift without further incident.
I could feel eyes on me. It's a sense I developed in the military overseas. You knew when somebody was looking at you. There was something up there in the attic. I could not clearly see it, but it was glaring at me. And I could feel it was evil.
What the hell is that?
Security guard Rob Simpson investigates strange noises from the unused attic of a remote psychiatric hospital. He discovers the lock broken,
It's been torn clear apart. Check it out.
but no one inside. Upon leaving the building, he sees something that shouldn't be there.
Something in the attic. So I don't know what it was. And I could feel it was evil.
Rob's background is in the military and he saw active service. This brings with it the type of training which makes you pay attention. That's how soldiers stay alive. They notice things that are out of the ordinary that others may not. It can mean the difference between life and death for them.
The figure disappears from the window.
That took my breath away because I'm like, what was that?
Rob radios the other officer to meet him at the attic door.
I found a lock on the floor, totally useless. It's broke.
Who's doing this?
What's going on?
It was scary. Every nerve in my body was saying, get out. It's bad in here.
Check it out.
Fully expecting the person to still be in the attic, the officers move in quickly.
I walked in there, and the feeling was borderline terrifying because it was like something wanted me out. It was a heavy presence, like something was towering over you and pressing on you.
I can't even see any rodents or anything like that. There's nothing. So I don't know.
There's no sign of the strange figure Rob saw in the attic window.
I come out, the staff told me, "You look like you've seen a ghost."
Rob immediately takes steps to strengthen the door.
The maintenance man nailed the door shut with 8-inch spikes.
This is extremely disturbing. The fact that something might be powerful enough to actually break steel implies it might be capable of something far more harmful if it was directed against Rob or the patients he was watching over.
For 3 nights, all is quiet.
I can't take much more of this. Jeez.
Until the patient below the attic begins hearing noises again.
Was this thing tormenting that patient? They would get pounding at night on the door. So something didn't like the fact it could not get out that door.
You ready for this?
We knew it wasn't a patient because before we nailed it, I had swept that whole space. That banging on the door wasn't normal. It was otherworldly.
I am not pulling those spikes. I don't get paid enough for this.
You could feel the bangs through the door. I knew it was a haunting. I knew there was something there. The only thing I can conclude, it's the spirit of a patient because that wasn't a happy building.
There are entities capable of exhibiting enough force to break a lock. There is a precedent for such activity. For example, there are cases in which fireplaces have been dragged out of the wall, along with the gas pipes that feed them. Heavy equipment has been moved, vehicles driven off the road. It is possible for the more powerful kinds of entities to exert this level of force, and those are ones that you really want to watch out for.
Next thing that happened to me was scary, very scary, because I thought I was in for the fight of my life. I hear this woman scream. A blood-curdling scream. Sounded like it came from the elevator shaft. And I'm like, have I got a woman in here and got hurt?
After seeing a figure in the attic window of the psychiatric hospital, security officer Rob Simpson is investigating unexplained noises from the attic.
That banging on the door wasn't normal. It was otherworldly.
Whatever is behind the door is barely contained by 9-inch nails.
I am not pulling those spikes. I don't get paid enough for this.
I knew it was a haunting.
After hearing a blood-curdling scream emanating from the elevator shaft, he is under threat by an earthly figure.
This guy wasn't human. There was rage in his eyes. I'm scared. I'm going to get hurt. Poof, he's gone. It scared the crap out of me. I was terrified.
It's emotional for you.
Oh yeah, I didn't think it would be.
Rob decides to report his experience to the security staff.
I was told by the head of security, back in the 50s, a nurse was killed on the 3rd floor.
Who killed her?
There was a patient. This male patient attacked her one night. The details are pretty gory, but he drug her up, tied a rope around her neck, tied it to the rail, threw her over the rail. That's how she was found, hanging at the top of the stairs.
When there's extreme emotion in an area, often it will imprint itself psychically, leaving a scar on the atmosphere, if you will. And the patient that Rob saw was believed to be the apparition of a murderer who had killed a nurse in that facility and hung her body in one of the hallways. You consider the amount of intense emotion that would accompany that kind of act. There's no surprise to me that this plays itself out again and again and again.
I'd had enough of the danger. I moved on to a veterans security company and a much quieter existence. I can say for sure, spirits walk among us based on my experience at that psychiatric hospital. There is darkness, there is evil. A few years after I quit that job, they demolished the old hospital and built $500,000 homes. I wonder how those people sleep at night.
Despite working in a hospital under extensive renovations, Registration Officer Phyllis Cesar is as busy as ever.
My main job was to register patients as they came in to be seen in the emergency room. I mainly got demographics from the patients or their family members, and that would be their address, phone number, insurance information, emergency contact, talk to them about co-pays, anything relating to what they're in the hospital for. Nothing medical, that was taken care of by the nurses, but we just got all the personal information.
Dr. Robert, Pediatric, Dr. Robert.
Hi.
Hi.
I need some help.
What's wrong?
I have this pain in my side.
Oh, well, have a seat.
Thank you. Oh.
I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Do you have any identification on you?
I do, yes.
A lot of people say that they came into the hospital scared, nervous, angry, and after dealing with me, they felt so much better.
So it's just a pain in the side. Any other symptoms?
No, if I stretch or move, it's just really, really painful.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, why don't we do this? I'll get you registered and we'll try to get a doctor to see you, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
One of the things I really liked was explaining what's going on because they're nervous, they're scared, and they just need someone to comfort them.
There you go. If you just
Thank you.
have a seat over there, we'll get you out of here in no time.
Thank you.
Here you go. Thank you.
It was about 3 o'clock. There was a young man who was sitting in the lobby waiting to be seen. Everything seemed nice and calm. All of a sudden, this guy grabbed something off the floor and came into my room.
What's going on here?
What do you mean?
This pin just hit me.
And he held his hand out, and it was a clergy pin.
I've never seen it before.
A black and silver pin with a cross on it.
That's really weird.
Had you ever seen this pin before?
No, never.
But evidence seems to suggest otherwise.
I had no idea where it came from, how this pin was flying out of my office. I started thinking, like, how could this have happened?
As her shift continues, Phyllis prepares to go on her dinner break, which takes her through an empty part of the hospital.
Every night, we would have to punch out in a time clock for supper, and I would take this one route, and I would go right past the operating area. I started seeing various objects move. Doors would slam. It just seemed like activity was almost every night. I fell forward with a strong force.
What the hell?
I really feel like I was pushed or tripped.
What?
It was quiet, and just this skeleton crew was at the hospital working.
But it seems she's not entirely alone.
Excuse me. Sir?
I saw a man, young man, in a hospital gown pulling a IV pole behind him.
Excuse me, why did you push me?
Sir? Excuse me. Excuse me. Why did you push me?
Then he went through the door. The hair on the back of my neck stood up, and I'm thinking, no, you're crazy, you know, that you don't see anything. It's just your eyes playing a trick on you.
She heads for the room the figure would have passed into.
There was a room that we would put family members in when their loved one was passing. It was a nice, quiet room. And there is an orb floating in midair. Very slowly, it floated toward me. It was terrifying.
As a Florida hospital undergoes extensive renovations, ER registration officer Phyllis Cesar experiences a string of events that disrupts her very foundation.
My heart was racing, my mind was going a mile a minute, trying to logically explain what was going on. Then it just continued out the door toward the outside. I was in so much shock. What the heck just happened? And it's like, oh my goodness, I'm shaking. I was wondering how much more I could take. You do question yourself. Are you losing your mind? Are you seeing something or are you making it up? But I know it was real.
Hospitals are places of great human emotion. And oftentimes when we have a place of human emotion where people are both very happy, very upset, then you get haunting phenomenon going on. It's very closely related to human emotion and the spectrum of emotion that we project into the environment.
Despite being shaken to her core, Phyllis has to regroup. She still has patients to attend to.
It started making me nervous, and I'm thinking, oh no, I have to go past this area every night to punch out for dinner, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to handle this.
The next night, Phyllis once again goes on her mandatory break.
I'm really glad you came with me today because I've been seeing a lot of really strange things going on here.
But this time, she asks the security guard to escort her to the punch clock, although she hasn't given him all the details.
We're walking down the hallway, and he goes on ahead, making sure nobody's up there.
What's that?
Sounds like music.
There shouldn't be anybody up here.
All of a sudden, halfway down the hall, a radio kicks on and is blasting music.
I think it's coming from in there.
Sounds like it.
And I said to security, was there music playing in any of these rooms? And he said, no, absolutely not. It was all quiet.
Security. What's that? Somebody's coming from OR6.
We went into the room.
Security! Hello? Anybody in here? Security! What the hell's going on?
I could see a ghostly figure of a man.
Security!
He was about 70, 75 years old, and I could actually see he was balding with fringe hair. But I know it wasn't human.
ER registration officer Phyllis Cesar discovers that a vacated wing of a hospital undergoing renovations is populated by more than just construction workers.
I'm saying, nope, this isn't happening. I'm not seeing it. And I'm thinking I really need to find a different way to go to the time clock, but there wasn't.
Security!
The security guard, being an ex-military man, was trying to be brave, but you could tell that it was affecting him greatly.
Phyllis decides to face the reality of what she's dealing with.
What do you want?
I started talking to him and I said, "It's okay, you can go. You don't have to wait anymore. It's time for you to go home."
Just go. Be free.
I actually felt a sense of relief after saying that.
You can go. You don't need to stay here anymore.
It just floated right by and went out the door. The security guard was trying to shake it all off like it wasn't happening.
Should I go follow it?
No need.
But he couldn't discount seeing things that he can't logically explain.
People forget that these entities and these intelligences, all of this non-physical energy, is very much receptive to us as people. We often think that we need somebody special, like a medium or something like that, in order to communicate with them, but ultimately, they read our energy.
Maybe we don't talk about that to others.
Not a bad idea.
I really felt that once the construction started and so many things were disrupted in the hospital, that a lot of activity started happening. It's almost like they were being disturbed and they wanted to let people know that they were there. This is the pin that was thrown to the patient who was in the emergency room.
People have often reported that when a building is under construction or renovation, that certain energies or vibrations might be triggered or get released into that space. And it's unclear as to exactly how this seems to work, but PK energy or psychokinetic energy can sometimes start to activate as these renovations are happening.
Soon after, Phyllis decides to leave the job, to put distance between herself and the haunted hospital.
Construction is far from over. A lot of coworkers, I keep in touch with them. And they tell me there's still activity going on in the hospital. I'm relieved that I'm not experiencing all the things that I did when I was there.
What the hell's going on?
You can go. You don't need to stay here anymore.
I definitely feel like it helped me to connect with the spirit world and to be more accepting. Even though many times I was scared, confused, and not a willing participant, it really has changed and made me who I am today.
It's 2014, and making the rounds at this hospital in Northern Virginia is recently hired internal medicine specialist Dr. Donald Malner.
I practice internal medicine, and it's things such as hypertension, diabetes, heart problems, strokes, COPD, asthma, anything like that.
Hi, Lucy.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Malner.
Morning. Yeah, 105 is perfect.
Okay, so 115, she's waiting for you.
Okay, great.
I knew I wanted to be a physician from childhood. I used to go see my pediatrician, and I was amazed in his office how he could listen to my heart and tap on my knee and come up with reasons what was wrong with me.
How's my favorite patient doing?
Much better, thanks to you.
I enjoy working with the patients and being able to give them answers. When somebody says, "Dr. Mona, I really appreciate what you did," it just makes you feel good inside.
You keep this up, and you're gonna be out of here in no time. Nothing to worry about there.
That's good to know, good to know.
Well, I'll be back in a little while to see you, okay?
Okay,
Take care.
super. You too. Bye-bye.
Being a physician is like being a detective. For me, it's like putting a mystery and a puzzle together, being able to work through the pieces and come up with what's going on, and it is pretty much like solving a mystery.
But Dr. Molnar is about to experience a mystery for which no amount of medical training could ever prepare him.
One afternoon, I was walking down the hallway, and we have a drink room where you can get soda. I was walking by the room, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw a lady. She had long brown hair, and she looks like she doesn't belong there. So I took a step or two past the doorway, and there was no time. There was no time for anybody to leave or to hide or to get out of there. And I stepped back because I'm like, wait a minute, what did I just see? And there's no way I just saw a lady standing in here and now she's not here.
With his patients now sleeping quietly, Dr. Molnar catches up on paperwork.
I was sitting there putting notes into the computer and doing my work.
Help me. Help me.
And all of a sudden I heard a lady's voice say, help.
Help me.
Hello? Is anybody there?
I look around and there's nobody there. Now, you know, sound travels and all that, but this definitely sounded like a lady's voice. There wasn't a person there that could have said help.
Hello? Is anybody there?
Help me.
When I heard the help, it made me want to spring to action. Every now and then, you know, a patient will end up on the floor or a nurse slips or falls, so I thought I needed to get up and help somebody. I looked around and there wasn't anybody that needed help, but clearly somebody said, help.
Help me.
My adrenaline was pumping. It was hard to shake.
Dr. Molnar continues to sense that he is not alone.
It felt like something was watching me.
There are so many senses beyond the physical ones that we don't recognize or even acknowledge. One of these senses is the ability to feel when we're being observed. That is a sixth sense. That's something that's put in there for our survival, a kind of spidey sense to keep us from harm.
Help me.
And once again, I heard a voice out of nowhere saying, help. And it was enough to make you feel like somebody really needed help. You need to get up and help them. I look and there's a shadow, a grayish, blackish shadow. It was looking right at me. When I realized what I was seeing wasn't human, the hair in the back of my neck stood up.
At a hospital in Northern Virginia, Dr. Donald Molnar experiences a series of unexplainable events, eventually leading to a terrifying encounter with a mysterious shadow.
I was shocked. You could kind of see a head to it and maybe some shoulders, just standing there looking at me. And then it just darted. So this thing was like there, then boom, it just gone. But I could see it go. I could see it run away.
Hello?
I was shocked. I really questioned that I had seen what I saw. What is going on in this hospital? Because this is insane. And it seemed to be focused around me to some degree.
The following morning, Dr. Molnar turns to a trusted colleague for answers.
My job, we weed out all the possible explanations for patients. But in this situation, I couldn't explain it.
Lucy, hi.
I was talking to one of my docs who works there with me.
Listen, I'm gonna ask you this. Have you seen anything strange that you can't explain?
Dawn.
She's like, Don.
You know this hospital is haunted, right?
This hospital is haunted. I'm like, what? I'm like, what makes you think that? Now, I hadn't told her my experience.
Yeah, don't you know about the lands it's been built on? It's been built on plantation property.
The hospital is located in an interesting part of town. There was a lot of plantations. There was a lot of slaves. So she started telling me, I hear all these noises. Every now and then the bathroom light comes on by itself.
There's often a lot of paranormal activity in areas where a number of tragic and dark events have happened. There is a buildup of energy. It becomes supercharged. There are so many stories that need acknowledgement. There are so many spirits who need to find peace.
During another grueling night shift, Dr. Molnar finds a moment to catch some much-needed rest in the staff sleeping quarters.
So I decided to go to bed, although I was a little bit leery going to bed this night. There was a figure standing there. It actually gave me chills.
Help me.
I was afraid. Is this thing gonna get more aggressive? Is it gonna start doing something physical? What does this thing want? And what's it after? And what can I do? And what is it? Why?
Beneath this facility where Dr. Molnar worked was a lot of energy which had built up over time, a lot of tragic events, a lot of stories that need to be acknowledged, a lot of spirits that need peace. These situations, these sounds, these images replaying themselves over and over like a recording until these spirits can move on and find peace.
But the spirits have not moved on. Dr. Molnar and the other staff continue to experience strange phenomena.
This hospital continues to be haunted, and it seems like the activity is increasing every day to the point of where you get a little nervous to go into work. In fact, my one doctor friend says she doesn't even want to sleep in that office anymore. It's frightening, especially when something is really trying to get your attention, and something that doesn't scientifically make sense or medically make sense. For you to have that experience goes against everything you've learned as a physician and a scientist to say, this doesn't make any sense, but this stuff is happening. It was thrilling, it was scary, it was real. My experience at the hospital has definitely changed the way I look at what happens to us after we die. There are ghosts and there are afterlife, and that things are trying to get your attention from beyond. I'm always a little skeptical. It's the scientist in me, the doctor in me, but from my experiences, these things happened, and there's no other explanation for them, and ghosts and spirits and the afterlife is real.
nursing assistant.
I'm scared telling the story.
There's nobody.
As I pulled the door open, it smelled like death.
I saw a black shadow person. It reaches right into where his spine was.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Who told you this happened?
We did.
God. The face was shriveled up. It was dead.
I am a mess.
He's not responding.
I am not knowing what to do. And now somebody might die.
We all are dead, Ron. He said, we're all dead. I thought I was dead too, and that scared the living hell out of me.
In an old, isolated psychiatric hospital somewhere on the American Eastern Seaboard, hairdresser Ron Koval begins his day.
I would get a lot of pleasure out of helping these people, but because there's nobody else to help them. They're lost. They have nobody. So it's different than if you're a hairdresser on the outside and someone comes in with a picture and, yeah, I want this done, where these people are just happy just to have somebody there and taking care of them. So that's what I enjoyed the most, and I was willing to do that, and I really enjoyed going every morning. The house was built in the late 1800s. When I worked at the facility, it wasn't completely full. Some wards had been shut down. As you can see, it's deteriorating. It was starting to crumble.
Hey, Ron.
Hey.
Got Mary for you here.
How are we doing today, Mary?
Very well, thank you.
Good. The usual?
Sure.
Not everybody would want to work in a psychiatric hospital. What's that like?
You have to keep your eyes open. Sometimes things can change when you least expect it, you know. And sometimes these patients, even though you think they're your friends, can turn on you very easily. Fights break out, people get hurt, and that's when it gets scary.
Ron will soon have reason to wonder if the old institution hides things more scary and more dangerous than the occasional violent patient.
I'm hearing this noise from next door, and I'm going, what in the hell is that? You could hear it, boom. And then it came repetitive. Not just one, not just two, like four. Then boom, 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 one after another, louder and louder and louder and louder and louder.
You can't tell me you didn't hear that. Those noises next door?
There ain't nothing next door. That room hasn't been used for years.
Can you watch Mary for me?
The hospital itself, they're constantly repairing things, patching up holes in the walls. On rainstorms, rain will come in certain places, they would have to fix that. It was always under constant repair.
Ron wonders if there are workers in the next room.
The door started to turn, but it wouldn't turn all the way. The sounds was like faint, whispering people talking. This was a muffled sound, but a lot of them.
suspect.
I knew it was voices, but I couldn't make out exactly what they were saying.
Hello? Hello?
This seems totally so confusing to me, I can't figure it out. What's going on?
You look like you've seen a ghost, Ron.
What's in there?
That's the morgue. They used to do the autopsies in there.
She said, very calmly, she goes, oh, that was the morgue. I said, you're kidding me. She said, no. The doctors in there would do the autopsies on the bodies and that. Wall that was to the hair salon. It was a makeshift wall, like partition type wall. Because I looked up to the ceiling and I see pipes going across, and in the hair salon, they had a drop ceiling. So then I said to myself, all this time I've been working in a morgue. Then I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get really scared and nervous what's going on.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
I haven't told anyone at the hospital about my mother's passing. There's no way that patient could have known.
Who told you this happened?
They did.
Sorry.
That's when it got really scary.
Oh my God!
I looked down and it wasn't her.
Are you not seeing this?
There was actually a corpse there. It was a dead body.
It's so cold.
Oh my God.
I've never been that scared in my life.
In an old, remote psychiatric hospital, hairdresser Ron Koval.
You can't tell me you didn't hear that.
Hear what?
Hears strange noises emanating from what used to be the morgue next door.
The sounds were like faint, whispering people talking. Then I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to get really scared and nervous what's going on.
So sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Who told you this happened?
They did.
Then he sees things beyond rational explanation.
Oh my God!
The face was shriveled up. It was dead. The eyes were gone. The fear was so great. It's just like, it just overwhelms you. It just takes you like, boom.
It's so cold.
When Ron sees the corpse in his hands as he's cutting the hair, what's happening is that he's actually picking up on events that have happened in the space. This place was a morgue. And I think what has gone on here is the fact that he's picking up things that have occurred as events in that location.
Are you not seeing this?
What, you mean Mary?
I looked back again, and the girl was back. And I'm going, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell's going on?
You okay, Ron?
Yeah. It's okay.
I got done with her and finished her up as quickly as I could and got her out and left. That was it. I cleaned up as fast as I can and got myself out of there. I wasn't going crazy. I was fine. There was more going on there than what meets the eye. When you don't know something, that's the greatest fear you can possibly have, because you don't know. You just stand there dumbfounded. You don't know what's going on.
Dr. Roberts, the cafeteria. Dr. Roberts.
At the time, I didn't believe in the paranormal or ghosts or anything in that manner. But now I did. And now things are starting to get more real. And so, as scared as I was, and I was frightened, it just drew me more into it. To find out what is going on. Well, little did I know at that time that was just the beginning of the events that were going to occur.
Hey, Rod. Hey, you got a second?
Sure.
So I kept it to myself. I didn't tell anybody. Because you're in a psychiatric hospital, and it's kind of weird to tell them that, hey, I'm hearing voices, I'm seeing things, you know. You don't want to think you're crazy.
You okay?
Sure.
Yeah?
Although keeping the strange events a secret from staff, Ron decides to reach out to a friend.
Later on that day, I called a friend of mine who is a priest and told him about the incident.
Hey.
How are you?
Strangest thing happened. I was just cutting her hair, and I swear I looked over and I seen a ghost. I don't know. And then I looked over and she was in the chair.
Really?
And then she was gone, and I just can't explain it. I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing these things. It scared the shit out of me.
Of course it would. I have something that should help.
Okay, I hope so.
I can come down there now if you want.
Okay, see you in a bit.
Later that same day, his priest friend pays him a visit.
He gave me a small satchel, and there were 4 bottles of holy water. And I asked him, I said, what am I supposed to do with this? He says, you don't throw it around the room or anything. He says, every day you drink some of it. It'll go through your system, in your bloodstream, and stay with you. I started drinking the holy water every day. I really thought the holy water was going to protect me, and it was working. But as time went on, I was wrong.
Events begin to escalate during a fierce winter storm that shuts down roads in and out of the isolated hospital.
What I did is I went and made plans to spend the night there. So on the ward I was on, they had a storage area where they would keep, you know, roll-out beds and things. So what I did is I went in there, took out one of the roll-out beds, got myself a pillow, a blanket, everything I would need. This is where I'm spending the night. And you hear the wind blowing and the blizzard and everything coming around.
With his holy water close at hand, Ron settles in for the night. It would seem that even that which was supposed to protect him is not beyond the influence of the strong forces at work.
I didn't know what to do. I was lost for what to do. You could feel a chill come over. It was getting cold.
Ron follows the chill in the air.
As I came to the wall, it was just bitterly cold. On the calendar, it said December 21st, 1917. It scared me, but it also got my adrenaline going and made me wonder what was really going on here. I could hear somebody whistling. Then I heard a gurney coming down the hallway. I looked both ways down the hallway, and that was it. There was nobody there.
The strange sounds he heard earlier fill the hallway as he approaches the door to the old morgue, which this time is open.
It just pulled me in, and so I had to find out what it was, what was going on. As I pulled the door open slightly, the smell started to seep out. And it was gross. It was disgusting. It smelled like death. There were bodies lying on the floor, covered with blankets.
I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald.
The fear was overwhelming. Totally overwhelming. It's like you're going into a different dimension. I sensed it when I got in there. You walk into a different dimension.
Please, please, please tell me what's happening, please. Please, please tell me what's happening.
In an isolated, run-down psychiatric hospital, hairdresser Ron Koval experiences a series of unnerving events.
You look like you've seen a ghost, Ron.
What's in there?
That's the morgue. They used to do the autopsies in there.
And now has been drawn back to the morgue, abandoned years earlier.
It just pulled me in, and so I had to find out what it was, what was going on. As I pulled the door open slightly, the smell started to seep out. It smelled like death.
He discovers the room holds more than the smell of death.
I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald. I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald. I'm sorry about your mother, Ronald.
Oh my God, please.
They're starting to move. They're starting to get up. The ones lying on the floor are starting to arise. You hear the sound. It's like ice cracking.
Please tell me what's happening, please. Please, please tell me.
Their lips were blue. The fingertips were blackened. The tips of their nose were blackened from frostbite. It's just like looking at a frozen piece of meat.
Please, please tell me what's happening. Tell me what's happening, please. Please, please.
It was like I was stepping back into time.
What seems to be happening is that he is almost picking up on the vibration of something that's happened in the past. He's transmitting and receiving vibrations in the same way that when you put a needle on a phonograph, it actually will replay an event.
Please tell me what's happening, please.
I said, tell me what's happening. Tell me, please, tell me what's happening.
We all dead, Ron, don't you know?
Oh my God. He said, we're all dead.
We all dead, Ron, don't you know?
We're all dead. When he said that, I thought I was dead too, and that scared the living hell out of me. I just took off. I didn't give it a second thought. I got out of that place real fast.
Strangely, the door to Ron's salon is locked.
I was panicking and trying to get the hell out at the same time, but nothing was opening. I can't get out. I can't get out.
Don't you know?
There was a force that took and shoved me against the wall.
Oh my God, no. Oh, please just leave me alone, please, please.
As I looked up, then these bodies started coming right out at me.
Oh my God.
I was petrified, totally petrified of what I'd seen and heard. All this time, I've been working in a morgue, and the sounds I was hearing and the things I was seeing were people at one time that were there. I made coffee and that was it. That whole night, I stayed up until daybreak.
The next morning, Ron decides to look through hospital archives, searching for answers.
In 1917, the boiler broke down and the patients froze to death. There was no heat. 20-something patients died, other ones suffered frostbite. When I read the article dating back then I put two and two together and realized that's what I seen. And these are the people who were there who died at that time. After that, it became too much for me, and I decided to pack it in and quit. Find another job, and I left the hospital for good. I went back recently in December for a funeral within the area. And my wife said to me, "Oh, you can just stop by where the hospital used to be?" I said, "No."
Inside the walls of a 100-year-old hospital, newly recruited nursing assistant Erin Minyard is thrilled to be fulfilling a dream that began as a child.
Hello. When I was 5 years old, got diagnosed with a disease that attacks your central nervous system. I was barely able to walk. I had a nurse. Her name was Erin. To this day, I still remember her. She was amazing. And I actually went through nursing school with the stethoscope that she gave me when I left the hospital. That really shaped a lot of how I wanted to be as a nurse. From then, I just wanted to take care of people. It's just something that is either your calling or it's not, honestly. It's something you have to give your all to or nothing. The hospital that I was at catered to both pediatric and adult patients and had been a hospital for a long time. It's been in the area for a long time.
But on day 3 of her new career, the rookie RNA's training would be tested.
Once upon a time, there was a prince, and he lived in a beautiful kingdom. And this prince had a pet skunk.
One of the things that we had to do is kids that were special needs, they would need what they called a sitter.
This skunk was the color blue.
You sat with them, made sure their needs were met the best that you could, He was with it mentally, but physically, he had limitations. He couldn't get out of bed by himself. You know, he could barely roll over without any kind of help.
And it smelled of roses and daisies and all kinds of wonderful scents.
All of a sudden, I could hear somebody stomping. It was like somebody was very angry and was in their boots and were just stomping on the floor.
The stomping seems to be coming from inside a nearby patient room.
Nursing assistant, is everything okay?
And I'm getting no response, but I can still hear the stomping. It gives you the impression that this person's upset. Of course, one of the first things you think is, okay, maybe somebody's hiding. Maybe this person's upset and wants to hurt you or wants to have a confrontation of some point.
Suddenly, the room goes silent.
I opened the door and saw that there was nobody in there. The room is clean, the bed's made. There's literally nobody in there. So I kind of, okay, maybe I'm just hearing things.
But there's no question about what she hears next.
I hear screaming. It is panicked. It is something that makes your own blood just like curdle because something's not right and it's 20 feet away from you.
Get him away! Get him!
Okay, what's the matter? What?
Get him away! Get him away!
What's the matter?
Ah!
It's okay, it's okay. Just take a breath, it's okay.
Go away!
His face, oh God. His face was absolute terror. He's just staring. It's like he was transfixed.
Ah! Go away! Get him away! Go away! Ah! Get him away!
And at that point, that's when the tray table just slid right across the room. And that's a good 10 feet it went.
Go away!
This wasn't like it rolled a couple of inches and, you know, scared me. No, this went across the room.
There's nobody.
It's almost like when somebody gets upset and they want to make a point, and so they shove things. You know, they might shove paperwork off the table. They might, it just was that kind of motion.
It's okay, it's okay.
Get him away.
It's okay. Is everything okay?
Get him away! Make him go away!
I was terrified. I absolutely was terrified.
It's okay.
But as Erin attempts to comfort the boy, she sees something that's even more terrifying.
That's when he just told me, I had this dream, this man had a stick and was hitting me, and it made my back hurt, and then my skin was gone. This was not something that could be explained away, so what's going on to cause these incidents to happen? I was scared enough that I sat there and stared at this kid to make sure, you know, that everything was going to be okay.
By the next day, the boy is feeling much better and is discharged.
At that time, I was really hoping that whatever this was had had its fun and moved on. But from that point, things really did get worse.
On Erin's next shift,
Okay, put your vest on now.
a new patient has been assigned to room 668.
Yep, just like that.
He was a cystic fibrosis patient.
Do you have the IV? And 2, there we go. Okay.
Basically what it is, you get to a point where you cannot stop making phlegm and it just floods your lungs. So sometimes people will have a flare-up. They might need to come in and get therapies.
There you go, it's not too tight.
One of the things that they use is a vest that vibrates, and it basically loosens all the phlegm so they can expel it, which helps them breathe better.
Just breathe normally. There you go. Good.
So this young man, his lungs aren't functioning the way they should. And of course, if you're not getting the oxygen you need, you tire very, very quickly.
Part of the teen's therapy involves daily exercise.
He's walking around, he's in a great mood. He's just happy to be alive. He's happy that, you know, he's able to get up and move around for the first time in a couple of days. I looked down the hall and I saw somebody walking with him. The first thing I thought is it's his brother, dad, somebody that's with him. I saw a black shadow person right behind him. It reaches right into where his spine was, to where like his lower lobes of his lungs would be. At this point, I am nauseous because I am so scared.
Hello.
For rookie nursing assistant Erin Minyard, working at a hospital is a childhood dream come true. Until her patients are attacked by a terrifying entity.
At this point, I am nauseous because I am so scared. It was like a horrible nightmare. It almost felt like I was running through mud trying to get to him.
Stop it!
Then all of a sudden, it was gone. It was just gone. It was like when you think you see something and blink and it's gone.
It's okay, take a deep breath.
I get running up to him, hey, are you okay? And he kind of looked at me and he gave me this real weak smile and he goes, I'm just really tired all of a sudden.
Okay, you're okay. You're okay.
It's a very scary situation to see something like that. And it's even more scary and more frustrating to be the only person that witnessed what happened. I just had this overwhelming feeling that I did not want to leave him alone. I felt like if I left him alone, something even more horrible was going to happen to him. And at this point, he can't catch his breath.
An entity might, over time, siphon the life force, the energy off another living being Just as there is bullying and tormenting in our physical dimension, it's the same case in the spirit world. Perhaps a spirit sees us living these lives, and they're very angry that they no longer have bodies, and they want to inflict pain and harm to others as a result of that jealousy.
A short time after all these things had happened, he did end up passing away in that room.
But, as Erin discovers, it's not just the patients that are at risk.
Shortly after the incident with this patient, I ended up having to have my gallbladder removed, so I was out of work for about 2.5 weeks.
Taking little time to recover, Erin gets right back to work.
I was at this point on light duty, so I couldn't lift anything over 25 pounds, but I was still able to carry out most of the basic necessities of my job. I'm scared telling the story. You know, it takes you back when you have to go back to things like this and remember what it was like at that time.
Erin's duties take her back to room 668.
Hey, can you keep an eye on him? I'll be right back. Sure.
We had a patient at the time that was on an ECMO machine. If you've had a horrible trauma happen, it's basically your heart and your kidneys outside your body. It cleanses your blood, it keeps your blood oxygenated. It's basically a last resource for a lot of people to make sure you're gonna survive whatever has come. I start to hear footsteps around his bed.
Hearing footsteps when there's no one around to make them is very foreboding. It's definitely a warning. We can hear something coming, and it's setting off our fight or flight, a chain of fear. It's a way for a spirit to perhaps intimidate us, but more likely to also warn us.
But the footsteps suddenly disappear.
All of a sudden, something poked me in one of my surgical sites. I had 3 or 4 different areas where they had gone in to get my gallbladder out. Whatever this thing was, decided to poke me in the one that was the one that you shouldn't mess with. I'm scared, I'm angry, I'm confused. Also, all I know is I'm in pain.
This spirit is most likely showing Erin that it recognizes that she has a wound and is also possibly suggesting that it can create more. It's warning her to back off, not to toy with it.
What's going on? Oh my God! Are you okay?
He's in there, and I...
Who's in there?
He poked me, and
God, you're bleeding. What was that? Oh my God, are you okay? What's happening?
The machine starts blaring. This is a patient who is on this machine, and their blood is going everywhere. They are literally bleeding to death in front of me. It is a scene out of a horror movie.
He's not responding.
Something pulled that tube.
Since starting her new job, rookie nursing assistant Erin Minyard and her patients have been at the mercy of a malicious, violent entity. And now, it appears to have sabotaged a machine that is keeping a critically ill patient alive.
Every precaution is put in to make sure that this tube does not move. So for it to just spontaneously pull is very, very, very rare, if not impossible. Something pulled that tube. Something pulled that tube.
This is a very common phenomenon. You know, machines are run by electricity, and you have these beings that are in the realm of spirit. They're made up of energy, so it's very easy for them to manipulate electrical devices.
What's going on? Leave! Who are you talking to?
He's not responding. I have no vitals.
Okay. I am a mess. I am crying. I am not knowing what to do, and now somebody might die.
Miraculously, Aaron and the other nurse are able to stabilize the patient who survives the ordeal.
The patient ended up being okay, but that was beyond terrifying. Beyond terrifying.
Erin is deeply scarred by the event. She begins to worry that the malicious entity is attached to her.
It made me very, very scared, and I didn't go back to work for a good week. I was terrified because at this point I'm believing, okay, maybe it's not something that's in the building, maybe it's something with me that's trying to hurt these people. And why does it want to do that when all I want to do is just go to school and help people?
But upon returning to work, Erin confides in a coworker and learns that the hospital has a dark history with the paranormal.
You're not the only one creeped out. This place is so crazy haunted. I've been sitting at the desk and all I hear is footsteps coming up the hallway. They're just stomping down the hallway at us.
I was in for a shock when everybody's had experiences and everybody's had things happen.
I don't know, I just feel like something bad, like bad energy or something.
I wouldn't be surprised. This building is so old. Honestly, it's probably about 100 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of the old employees or something.
Her colleagues believe the hospital is haunted by the spirit of a cruel male nurse, rumored to have harmed patients.
Even the most hardcore of, I don't believe this, there's no way that this could ever happen, had to step back and say, I can't explain it.
I just think some people are born evil.
The medical field is like most professions. Most people that get into it do it because they want to help people. There's also people who get into it because they want to learn skills to hurt people. This was somebody who'd been there before and stayed behind to keep hurting.
Soon after, Erin completes her studies and becomes a licensed nurse, but transfers to another hospital.
In a way, I am happy that I left the hospital because I got away from feeling that evil and watching it hurt other people and not being able to help. But at the same time, I miss, the people I worked with. I miss my patients. There were a couple of nurses, that I'm still in contact with, and they said after I left that there were a couple other incidences where, they thought they saw something or they heard something.
Go away!
I just hope they bring somebody in to clear out whatever energy's in there, because that thing in life, he wanted to hurt people, and now he's, on a different plane and can do it. And there's nobody really to stop him. People don't know how.
Something's down there.
Shortly after I started, some crazy, weird stuff started happening.
I saw my girlfriend standing in the kitchen with her back turned. I just took her to work.
Chris, you gotta get out of there.
Oh my God.
A plug of hair got pulled out. She has a blood spot right there. I mean, it was about that freaking big.
I saw multiple people just walking back and forth through the walls.
There was something that wanted to see something bad happen to me.
Science tells you that there's no afterlife. My incident changed my belief structure real quick.
It's 2004 in a Florida beach town. Chris Otto is working his first shift on a body removal team for the state medical examiner.
You just start with us?
Yeah.
The body removal team takes a body to and from a medical examiner to be autopsied, and we also take the autopsied bodies to the local funeral homes.
That's the gig. Cool. You ever seen a dead body before?
No, not really. I mean, like, I've watched TV and I've gone to funerals, but...
It's a little different than that, but you'll get used to it. It's not too bad.
Okay.
We brought someone back to the medical examiner around 12:30 at night. It was an older woman, probably in her late 70s. She had passed away in a nursing home. I was studying forensics pathology.
First, we've got this lever here. Twist it up. And then we're good to go. Okay, grab it. 1, 2, 3.
Night, good work at the local medical examiner. When you watch stuff on TV, CSI Miami, it's fascinating to you. But when it's in person, it's a whole different ball game.
Let's go.
Yeah, sorry.
Seeing somebody dead, it was numbing and kind of heartbreaking at first, you know, because everybody has a story. I saw a bunch of stuff that I didn't really want to see at first, but I knew that it came with the job because, again, I wanted to do forensics pathology, so it was basically the course to study, and the way to rank up is you have to get used to seeing cadavers.
Dr. Hannigan, please call extension 209. Dr.
Getting used to seeing dead bodies will soon be the least of Chris's problems.
Security, please report to reception. Security, please report to reception.
No, I'll do it.
In the morgue, we weigh her, we measure her height, we take pictures of the body with a special camera and get it ready for an autopsy.
Draw straight. Grab the lights.
Oh, yeah.
So we take this data entry, that's why we want to type nice.
Chris has no idea that his first night is about to become anything but routine.
Around 1 o'clock, we were finishing up. We're doing next to kin paperwork, signing her in, doing paperwork on her for the medical examiner doctors to oversee, writing down a quick synopsis of how she passed away according to the doctors at the nursing home. The only living people in this building at the time were me and Emilio. I saw something out of the right corner of my eye.
What's up? I think I just saw something. Hello?
I saw a Hispanic teenager standing in the hallway, staring right at us.
You see that? Yeah, I'm sure I saw something. Go check it out. Hello?
I'm going, oh my God, did they make a mistake at the local hospital?
Chris and his partner see the figure of a young man standing looking at them in the hospital. Now, this figure is so realistic, they think, oh my gosh, somebody went and pronounced a living person dead. This is a fear that many medical professionals have. Patients that have been declared dead, have a time of death and death certificate all ready to go, aren't actually dead.
Are you okay?
And he just kind of like stuck his tongue out like that, and he ran off laughing and giggling.
Hey!
We didn't actually know what to do. We were basically frozen in time at that point. We were just dumbfounded.
Where'd he go?
I don't see him.
Hey!
Emilio went looking for him while I got on the phone.
Security.
Hi, my name's Chris Otto. I'm down here at the medical examiner building, and I think there's an intruder in the building.
Okay, you said in the medical examiner building?
Yeah, could you send with someone?
Yeah, right away.
We thought that this kid was accidentally pronounced, and maybe he's, now needing to seek medical treatment.
Just hang back for a second. Police? Police, anyone there?
We looked in all the medical examiner doctors' offices.
Okay, well, it looks like the door is still closed, so there's no forced entry there. Where else did you see him?
Morgue. Over there.
Okay. Let's go that way.
You want to search in there?
Yeah. Police?
We looked in the actual freezer where the deceased were placed. I mean, we looked everywhere. Bathrooms, hallways.
Okay, well, there's clearly no one in there.
We couldn't find him anywhere.
All right, let's head back to your desk.
The officer's patience wears thin with them.
So it was here, and then you turned around, and he was at the other end of the hall.
Yeah.
Okay, is this some kind of joke or something?
No, we're not. No, I swear.
I'm telling you, we saw the same thing.
Okay, because right now, there's no one else here. We've checked everywhere. There's no forced entry. None of the doors are open. Everything is locked. There's no one else here. So either you're playing a joke with us and wasting our time, or what?
No, I swear to God, it's not a joke. We know what we saw.
We're not messing around, man. We know what we saw. We're not playing games with you.
Okay, well, we're gonna take off and help out with some real crimes, and when there's an actual emergency, call us.
I know what we saw, man.
Yeah. You wanna grab a coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
So they were just like, you're wasting our time here, man.
After they leave the morgue, Emilio and Chris remain shaken by what they've seen.
That was weird, right? I don't get it, man.
Yeah, it was a one-off. It's really nothing.
What we ended up doing was we ended up getting into our van, and we drove about 30 miles away from the medical examiner. to a local 7-Eleven.
Thanks.
We just sat there. Didn't make any sense to us. There was no way he could have left the medical examiner that night or even came into the medical examiner's.
It's better that this didn't happen, right?
Yeah. Like the cop said, didn't find anything, and we'll just carry on.
Did we just see a ghost? We're the only people in there. Like, I don't know what else it could actually be.
So, what was it then?
Science in general just tells you that you live and then you die. That's it. There's no afterlife. I was just trying to, like, realize that this could be paranormal. I'm losing my mind, one of the two. We just said to one another that, hey, we cannot tell anybody about this because they're going to think we're crazy. After seeing the boy in the morgue, I thought it was the end of it. But I was wrong. Next night, around 10, 11 o'clock, I had the day off at home. Getting ready to go to sleep.
What is that?
Go check.
We heard something outside our door. Like someone breathing through an air tube. A Darth Vader-ish sound. I had to see what was going on in my hallway.
After seeing the disturbed figure of a lost boy in the morgue, forensic technician Chris Otto hears something unexplained in his own home.
There was nothing there, and the noise completely stopped. Maybe it might have been the air ducts in our ceiling.
There's no one there.
Sure?
Yeah. Okay. Just go to bed, okay?
Okay.
Chris and Denise snuggle in for what they expect to be a quiet night.
Chris?
A couple hours later, we heard something which sounded kind of like a heart monitor. We were like, what is that noise coming from? Or we couldn't figure it out. We didn't have, anything that would cause that noise in our bedroom.
Oh my God, what is going on?
I don't know. Let me figure it out.
We were scared.
Just watch out, okay?
Yeah.
It was coming from our bathroom. We kind of looked at each other like, what is going on here? We're trying to rule out any paranormal.
It must just be from some other apartment.
People don't want to go there, right?
We just don't want to sound crazy.
We're just imagining it. Just go back to bed.
I didn't even tell her what happened at that night at the medical examiner. We were still reeling from the night before, what we saw. Well, nothing took place. Business went as usual.
Yeah, we're good.
After a couple of nights of working, I just tried to imagine that that we didn't see anything. It was just a hallucination more than anything else. Maybe we were just overwhelmed and we were just tired and maybe we were just seeing things.
Chris was beginning to feel that things had returned to normal.
Shortly after that, I dropped my girlfriend off at work. I was doing paperwork on my computer when I decided to go make myself something to eat. I saw her standing in the kitchen with her back turned.
Denise?
Immediate terror came over my body, and because I just took her to work. I was saying to myself, how can my girlfriend be in the kitchen when I just dropped her off at work? And I'm like, I'm losing my mind here. I put water on my face and looked myself in the mirror. I was just saying, get it together. I called her. Her boss answered.
Hi, is Denise there?
And I asked for Denise, and I said, is Denise there? And he said, yeah, she's sitting right here.
Denise? Denise?
What's going on?
I just saw you in our kitchen.
Oh my God. Chris, you gotta get out of there. Go.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gone.
That's when she told me to get my keys and get out of there. It was still standing in my kitchen with its back turned.
The phenomenon of the doppelganger is well documented. It's been with us for hundreds of years. A doppelganger is essentially a phantasm of the living. It's the ghost of a person who has not yet died. It looks like them. From every angle, it dresses like them. It sounds just like them. They're indistinguishable from the actual living person. It might look like the person you love, but it's not them. And it means harm.
I was confused. I didn't know what to do. That's when I called my manager. I said, have you ever seen things? At that point, the phone went silent for about 45 seconds. And he's like, welcome to the funeral industry.
What do you mean?
Well, Chris, we see stuff like this all the time. You're just gonna have to get used to it. In the funeral business, we try to keep it to ourselves. He goes, and that's what I want you to do. Don't let anybody know.
Yes, sir.
My sense of what is real and not real is definitely shifting. I picked my girlfriend up from work. We talked about it. We decided to go back home, because it was our home. Everything was perfectly in place. Nothing was tampered with. There was nothing unusual. At this point, I told my girlfriend, maybe we have something here that's not from this world.
I think something came back with me.
She agreed that we might have an entity in our house. I guess I'm bringing home spirits or bringing home ghosts or people that had died to my house.
Chris and his girlfriend now know that there are spirits in their home.
Just got worse from there.
Denise, get up. Denise. Denise, wake up. Denise. Denise, babe.
God appeared to destroy the devil's work.
Forensic technician Chris Otto believes he has brought something not of this world home from the morgue.
It was about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I saw multiple people just walking back and forth through the walls.
Leave! Who are you? Leave us alone!
It was like people dressed in like hospital gowns to just normal clothing. And we're just walking through my room, just going through wall to wall. It's hard to talk about, and it was crazy. We were just terrified.
We're gonna go. 3, so babe, we have to go. 3, 2, 1, go, let's go! Come on.
I'm gonna get out of here.
I know, babe. Go.
We say don't take work home with you. This applies doubly when it comes down to ghosts and spirits. The spirit has hitchhiked back with Chris. I think it's entirely possible that this spirit invited others to come in. Hey, look, I found this great place to stay. Like some company. Who's with me? This spirit invited in a bunch of otherworldly house crashers.
That's the last of it.
All right. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
We just packed up and we left, and I quit the job and we moved to another place in Florida. Everything stopped after that. Everything was back to normal. There was no ghosts, nothing else. As much as I love forensics and as much as I love the CSI stuff, I just couldn't do it no more. Not after going through what I went through. I'll never ever go back to that job ever again. To this day, I still just can't believe that all this took place, and it just made me a believer in ghosts and paranormal. It's real as it gets.
Oh my God.
I know a lot of people don't believe, because I was one of those people, but when you have something like this happen to you, it's real. It's definitely real.
It's 2012 in a small old Civil War town on the Mississippi River. David Childers arrives for his first day at work, having just moved back to his hometown.
That's where I was born and raised in. Beautiful town, beautiful, place. Couldn't stay away from it.
He's been hired by a conservation foundation to be the caretaker of an abandoned historic hospital.
It was a lot of history behind it. It was built pre-Civil War. They shut it down like back in 2000. And there was a lot of people going in there and tearing it up, stealing the copper. And the foundation, they were like, I know you like historical places. Why don't you just come on and, you know, help clean the place up and make sure nobody gets in there and gets hurt? And so I took the job. My work day at the hospital was just walking around cleaning stuff up. See if the walls weren't falling down. It was soothing. But shortly after I started, some crazy, weird stuff started happening. I'd walk through the hallways and it was like somebody was watching me, knowing I'm the only person in there. Every now and then, I would hear like little pops and bangs. I'm like, yeah, it's just a hospital cell. It's been here for many years and it's basically falling apart. Maybe that's it. But then I heard a door slam. These doors are heavy. They're old. They have grit up under them. So there's no possible way that the wind would be strong enough to actually do that. Next thing you know, I hear a little girl laugh. And it sounded like it came from above me. It really sent chills up my spine, knowing a child is not going to be in this building the way it is. And I was like, so I shook it off. But then I heard heavy footsteps up top. Keep in mind, this is a thick concrete floor. It's about 6 inches of concrete. Whatever was running upstairs, I mean, it was loud. It was an eerie sound. I turned my light toward the staircase and I was like, do I really want to do this? I don't know if it's going to be a person up there. You know, somebody with a weapon, I could get hurt. But I've got to check it out.
Hello? 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 Anybody there?
I caught this shadow just rise up on the wall. Where did it come from? I knew that there was no logical explanation, and it scared the hell out of me.
Days pass with no further incident.
I shook it off and I was like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do my job. It was raining all day. You'll hear some water dripping. It was leaks.
Room 504.
Next thing happened, I heard this voice.
Room 504.
Room 504. What's in room 504?
Hello?
Start heading up there to check it out. Now, I wish I never would have done it. I went in through the doorway.
Room 504.
I'm getting chills even talking about this.
You do not belong.
Next thing you know, loud boom. Right above me. I was running for my life. The ceiling just fell in.
At an abandoned hospital in an old Civil War town in western Mississippi.
Hello?
Caretaker David Childers.
Room 504.
Tries to find the source of a disembodied voice.
Couch.
But in so doing, barely escapes with his life.
Next thing you know, loud boom. Right above me. I mean, it rattled the walls. The ceiling just fell in. Thank goodness the building didn't collapse. I'm like, man, I can't believe that just happened. There were rumors in the community over the years that the place was haunted. It's hard for me to actually believe because, I mean, rumors are rumors, and people tell stories just to try to keep you away from places like this. But there was something there that wanted me in that room. There was something that wanted to see something, you know, something bad happen to me. I still cannot explain that.
Terrified at what he just experienced, David is at a crossroads.
It's either I quit or I take matters into my own hands. Of course, I decided I'm going to take matters into my own hands. My wife and I, we decided we're going to go into this place and we're going to set up some cameras to actually see what was going on.
Thank you. Try to catch whoever or whatever it is out here.
This place is creepy.
Yeah.
My wife really didn't want to come to the place, but I really needed her to be there. Of course, being my wife, she was like, okay, I'll help you.
It was right in here where I heard the noises. So maybe... So let's set one up right here, yeah. Somewhere like looking this way.
David and his wife set up cameras throughout the hospital in the hopes that they will be able to catch the intruder on video.
I wanted to capture what was going on in this place because I know I'm not crazy. I know I'm hearing all this stuff. And I really would like for somebody else to understand exactly what's going on and what I'm dealing with.
They leave for the rest of the morning and will return later in the afternoon.
Yeah. Something's messed around their camera.
I just put a camera there, and it was knocked on its side. Even the tripod. It's starting to get really intense.
Just a bunch of static. What? What happened?
A plug of hair got pulled out.
Oh my God.
She has a blood spot right there. I mean, it was about that freaking big.
I can't do this. I
You're
can't.
bleeding.
No, 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 no.
David?
What?
Something's down there.
She said there's somebody standing down there at the end of the hallway.
You are not welcome.
There it was. It looked like a silhouette of a person, but I know good and well it's not.
David.
Leave here.
Come on.
I was in shock.
David, come on. David!
It felt like it was looking right through me.
Come and be with us.
Next thing you know, she bolts out behind me. She runs out toward the catwalk, and I mean, I had to go running after her. And she was like, let's go, let's get out of here, whatever it is, does it want us here? Let's go now.
Come on, let's go.
The heck was that?
I'm just racking my brain. I'm trying to figure out what is going on. What exactly is this thing?
In a situation where David's wife's hair was actually pulled, what this can actually indicate is just a warning to leave the space or to get out. Sometimes these negative entities can be very territorial over the location, and they will work to manipulate the people to get them out of the space.
David stays away from the abandoned building for several weeks. But he can't shake his curiosity around what he has seen and heard. Eventually, he returns to the old hospital.
I'm starting to realize that these rumors are true because I was witnessing myself. I was hearing, I was seeing and feeling. As soon as I got closer, I felt like I was being pulled there.
You get people that tend to be very excited over the fact that something has happened. It's unique, it's thrilling to them. So sometimes people don't actually heed the warning to leave, but actually it draws them in a little bit further.
It was something deep inside of me that just lured me in. I felt safe. I felt like the hospital was taking care of me. I was starting to get obsessed with the place.
David finds no intruder.
Because I'll be home soon.
But over the ensuing months, his obsession keeps him at the abandoned building day and night.
I got real bad. It just pushed me away from my friends and family, and a lot of them just didn't want to speak to me anymore because I was always wanting to be at that hospital. They started seeing the changes of me being more irritable.
Come on, give me a break.
From me neglecting my family at the time, it started to pull me and my wife apart. I don't know how it happened. It just happened so quick.
I'm not listening to this right now. I'll be home when I'm home.
My whole personality changed, and I still don't understand why. It got worse and worse between me and her.
The more time David spends in the decaying building, the more his mood turns.
I fell into a deep depression. It got to where that I got a barbecue grill, and I took it up to the roof. And I would sit there in a lawn chair on the roof of that hospital and just cook out.
Until one day, it threatens to consume him completely.
This is where you belong.
All of a sudden, everything just got muffled. I could hear everything. I can hear the noises.
Come be with us.
It was like I had earmuffs on.
No more pain.
And then I start getting a soothing feeling.
Come and be with us.
I wasn't upset anymore. I was at peace. And I mean, it felt good. But then I start getting visions in my head. It wasn't voices, but it was just visions of me walking to the edge. So I walked to the edge of the roof.
This is where you belong. This is where you belong.
I'm looking down. There's my truck. Something was showing me, hey, look, you can end it.
Do it.
It was showing me, hey, look, you can end the pain. End all this right here, right now. Just go ahead, take that last step.
Caretaker David Childers' experiences at an abandoned hospital have driven him to the edge of suicide.
Do it.
I was so close to stepping off there. So close. Finally, reality started kicking in. It was like, what am I doing here? Yeah, I've got to get out. I ran down from the roof, I get in my truck, and I get out there. I came so close to ending my life. That place is truly dark. After I left that place, that day, I didn't go back.
You've got this negative entity that is very territorial over the location. The intelligence that ends up existing there tends to be very protective. It tends to be very guard dog-like over the space. So oftentimes the phenomenon that will go with it will be events that seem to want the people out and can tend to be very aggressive.
Room 504. Get out.
The same dark spirit that almost killed me before with that ceiling falling in was trying to make another attempt. And it almost happened. It was wanting me to jump off that ledge. I would still get urges to go up there and check it out, but no, that wouldn't happen to me again. And I wouldn't live in that lifestyle. After that, they decided they're going to tear it down. I watched the papers, I watched the news. I was like, man, I can't wait for something to happen. Something that you just get rid of that evil place, man. They posted a video of the teeth of that bucket of that excavator. Just dig into the side of it. That made me so happy. It was just like a weight just lifted off my chest. Until this day, I watched that video a couple of times, knowing what could have happened to me. And it didn't.
The evil one will have his due. And you will pay with your souls.
I assumed he was a Satanist.
He's full-blown possessed.
Sir, are you okay? This I don't like.
I was petrified.
There was an older gentleman sitting there. There should have been no one at the building at that point in time. Hello? As we turned back to question him, the gentleman was gone.
We call upon the evil one to show the light of darkness.
I've never seen anything so terrifying. All of a sudden, we saw this mist appear. It actually went through him.
It was sucking the life out of me. It just got worse.
Raised by conscientious parents, Michael Nesbitt, a former airman in the U.S. Air Force, prides himself on his rational thinking.
My family has been pretty skeptical and questioning of things that happen and don't happen.
Are you referring to the paranormal?
Most of my life I grew up not believing in any of this stuff.
And what happened to change your mind?
I took a job as a security guard temporarily in a mental institution.
All Michael knows about his new job is that it opened up because of recent damage at the hospital.
They'd had a fire there, an electrical fire, and the locks on the doors were electronic. And so they couldn't lock the doors. So they really just needed people to come in and sit and keep quiet and make sure that nobody walked out on their own.
On his first shift, Michael notices something eerie.
It really was right out of a movie.
He makes his way toward the room on the monitor to investigate, passing through a patient hallway.
Each person had like a private room. It wasn't like a big ward or anything like that. There was like a central day room where people would sit and congregate, play cards, and do whatever they wanted to do.
Along the way, he comes across a patient he has been asked to keep a close eye on.
He was a teenage boy. He was very goth, wore all black clothes. He had these drawings in his room, and they were kind of disturbing. Strange scribbles, symbols. I assumed he was a Satanist personally.
With all of the patients accounted for, the burning question for Michael is, who is in the abandoned room?
I put my foot in across the threshold, and as soon as I did, I just had this overwhelming sense and feeling that said no. Everything inside me said, don't go in there.
Michael's rational mind dismisses the oddness as a technical glitch, a byproduct of the electrical damage caused by the recent fire.
The evil one will have his due. You will all pay with your souls. He's coming and your lives are forfeit.
Calm down.
You don't understand. He's coming and your lives are forfeit.
I overheard him tell one of the nurses, I'm going to summon demons on Halloween. I'm going to bring Satan in here on Halloween. Look right at her. Just deadpan serious.
Your lives are forfeit.
Halloween is that time of year when paranormal investigators get more ghost reports than at any other time. Sensitives will tell you that there is a thinning of the veil between worlds. As we get closer to All Hallows Eve, it becomes easier for the dead to come across.
You don't get it.
It's okay.
He's coming and his power will be greater than ever.
Hey, it's okay.
Let's just get you back to your room, okay?
Calm down. It's all right.
Come on.
They were very dismissive of them. Oh, well, that's nice, and thanks for telling us. I didn't think anything of it, really. I thought, okay, well, he's just, typical skater, punk rock, goth kid. Just textbook.
The next day is October 31st, Halloween, and Michael is called into work the night shift. With the teenage patient's bizarre curse still on his mind, Michael notices that there is a large hole in his wall and quickly learns that he's being moved to a padded cell, also known as a quiet room.
I looked up on the monitor, and he was laying in the quiet room on the floor in 4-point restraints.
Hey, Trisha, Ben. Why you got that young goth boy tied down in 4 points in the quiet room?
Oh,
He was the biggest disturbance in the whole room. He kicked a hole in the wall.
He's being disrespectful. We had to put him in there.
We had to restrain him.
Earlier in the day, he started getting agitated, and they said he started making noises, and then he kicked a hole in his wall, and he was getting more and more belligerent. They just thought he was dangerous to himself and to others.
All right, I'll keep an eye on it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
He also notices the group of patients that he saw playing cards the day before.
At the same exact time, they're having a seance in the common room.
By the means of the only true God, Satan, to rise. We call upon thee by the means of the only true God, Satan, to rise.
And they're in there holding hands, trying to talk to dead people and trying to invoke spirits.
Call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness. Call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness.
Look, I might not have believed in any of this stuff beforehand, but a seance might not be a great idea.
We call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness.
Especially given what's happening to the goth patient in the quiet room, which is no longer so quiet.
Summon his power. We call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness. We call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness.
There was this guttural animal-like noise that was coming out of him that was definitely not human.
What's going on?
He's full-blown possessed.
You kidding? That's not real.
Oh, it's real. And he is.
It's Halloween. And at a psychiatric institution, recently hired security guard Michael Nesbitt experiences strange events that shake up his rational mind and believes that a troublesome teenage patient
The evil one will have his due, and you will pay with your souls.
is possessed by an evil entity.
You're kidding? That's not real.
Oh, it's real. And he is.
I had the nurses tell me, and I heard one doctor tell me unofficially off the record, okay, that there is a fine line between mental illness and possession. And that there are people in there that are probably possessed, but they will never, ever, ever, never tell anybody this officially. So that shook me to my core. I never would have imagined seeing that in my life. I had heard about this being a thing, but I always thought, well, that's not true. That's make-believe. It was not make-believe.
This disturbed young man very vocally, very loudly denounced God and said that he worshipped Satan and that he was going to raise Satan up on Halloween night. No matter what you believe, whether you are a Christian or an atheist or the follower of some other faith or no faith, this opens you up to attention from all kinds of opportunistic entities. And I think that's exactly what happened in this case.
The nursing staff enter the room to ensure the patient doesn't harm himself.
Calm down, relax.
Field 146 Belgrade Drive. Walter Weeds 246 Thompson Parkway.
Who told you that?
He knew their full names. And the staff doesn't give their names to the patients. That's against policy.
He knew not only their name, but their home address.
Yes, he did.
Look, I think we need to get out of here.
Suddenly, Michael is confronted by another patient who is chanting in French.
He's walking around in a circle, just nonstop, chanting something in French. But his family say he never studied French.
One of the factors that a priest will look for when assessing whether a genuine possession is taking place involves assessing whether this person is showing abilities or skills that they do not normally have, and speaking a language that they'd never learned would certainly qualify.
The only thing I could think is that he's praying. Something's bothered him, something's got him really spooked. He's really scared. His face looks completely different. It's like 60-40 him and not him.
But it's not just the boy's face that's grossly transformed.
His throat gets completely distorted. It now looks like there's a football in his throat. I was trying to figure out, how does that happen by itself? You know, obviously he couldn't put anything in his mouth. He's laying down, his hands are tied.
We call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness.
I've never seen anything so terrifying.
Security guard Michael Nesbitt sees terrifying satanic events that cannot be explained.
The might of darkness.
His throat starts to swell up. And it just gets bigger and bigger. If you've ever watched a snake eat, and you see how it swallows a mouse whole, and you see that big mouse go down its throat, it looks like he had swallowed a football.
We call upon the evil one to show the might of darkness.
I'm out of here.
I just said, this is enough. I'm going home. I don't need $7 an hour that badly. And I got up and I walked out the door. I didn't go back. I was done. That was it. It was not safe for me to go in there.
Of all the haunted places I've ever experienced, in the medical field, hands down, the most paranormally active are the old asylums and psychiatric facilities. This is where you had some of society's most vulnerable and disturbed individuals. Many times they were just placed out of sight, out of mind. All of that energy, all of that negativity still remains today. And no wonder such places are haunted. And these kinds of hauntings are almost never friendly or benevolent. They're almost always aggressive and disturbing.
To this day, with everything I have seen and experienced in my life, there's no doubt in my body that this boy was possessed.
What possessed him?
I don't know. I'm assuming some type of entity, definitely negative entity, for sure. Absolutely malevolent. There's just no other explanation to me for what happened, other than this boy invited something in to this hospital and it took over.
We call upon thee by the means of the only true God, Satan, to rise.
Now, whether Satan showed up, I don't know, but something showed up. I was in the presence of pure evil. I'm sure there's lots of hoaxes out there, but there was no hoax in this. I mean, it happened. It was right in front of me, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that.
It's 1997 in a New Jersey small town. Certified nursing assistant Aretta Burkhead begins her first shift at a local seniors residence.
I wanted to be a CNA because I wanted to help people, and that was my goal. My objective was to help people. Helping people gave me a lot of value, and it made me feel good about myself, you know, having a purpose in life.
Aretta notices something strange about the building.
As I was walking up towards the building, I felt like the building itself was literally looking at me as I was walking into the building. It just didn't jive with me. There was a scent in the air. I remember that distinctively. It smelled like graveyard dirt.
She enters the building, her feelings of uneasiness following her.
Okay, so this is the main desk, head of the operation. You're gonna come in and check in here every day when you get to work. You can find all of the residents' charts here. You wanna grab this first thing when you show up. You'll wanna do your rounds right away, so we're responsible for checking on their stats every day, see if there's anything that they need in the room.
I kind of detected that one of the ladies who was an older woman, Rosa, I remember getting an odd vibe from her because the way she looked at me.
And then you're gonna do your rounds, check in on everybody, make sure all their stats are okay, blood pressure, things like that.
For the next several hours, Aretta completes her orientation, and by 11 p.m. is ready to begin her overnight shift, alone.
I wanted to have that good feeling like, this is my first shift and I'm going to conquer this and everything is going to be good and positive. But yeah, I felt there was just something very odd about that night. A TV popped on. This was well past 1 o'clock in the morning. There was no one else around. I knew the TV cannot pop on by itself. I wanted it off right away. I wanted to shut it down. I didn't know really where to go from there except for to take a deep breath and get it all back tight and go on with the night because that was my job.
The rest of the night passes without incident. Then, morning arrives.
We start setting up the dining room for the residents between 4:30 and 5 o'clock in the morning. It was a horrific, horrific cough, like a death rattle cough.
I think somebody's out of the room.
My first thought was someone was out of their room, that they had gotten up and come out of the room, and she thought the same thing. We checked the hallway, and we checked everything that was in the area, and no one. She literally looked like she had seen a ghost, and she said, "What the was that?" And to me, the cough sounded like it came from the center of the dining room. Let God strike me dead, there was no one in that room, and no rooms even near there where if someone was coughing, you could hear them. We both heard the same exact thing. We both heard the same cough coming from the middle of nowhere in the middle of the room. I had a gut feeling at that point that this probably was going to be a challenge for me to go back into work the next night. I went back into work the next evening for my 11 to 7, and I reported in. Everything seemed okay. I was doing, my rounds, going from room to room to room, making sure that they were sleeping in bed, they weren't wandering around. It was very quiet, and I felt a sense of safety. Everything was as normal as it could be.
As the sun rises and her shift nears its end, all seems quiet until she passes one room in particular.
As I was walking past room 24, I had a pool to look in. Never seen anything like it.
Sir, are you okay?
This I don't like. I was petrified.
Nursing assistant Aretta Burkhead has experienced events she cannot explain. When she enters room 24 to investigate strange noises from a patient, she comes face to face with something that sends her rational mind spiraling out of control.
Are you okay?
was a very dark image of a male. Unnaturally dark. I was petrified. It was just gone. Just gone. My adrenaline was through the roof because I knew that I saw something, a apparition, a spirit, or something otherworldly. And I had a feeling of dread. I said a prayer, and I just said, please protect me. God, please protect me.
Aretta puts a brave face on and continues with her shift.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Did something happen?
What makes you think something happened?
Listen, I don't want to overstep my boundaries. But if you had an incident, if something happened, there's something that I can give you.
What are you talking about?
It's a bead you can carry.
She had a blue bead that she gave me. It was like an evil eye.
The evil eye is a symbol found throughout history, and in several different cultures, it's worn as a talisman. It's an all-seeing eye.
What's it supposed to do?
Just keep it with you.
When wearing that evil eye, what you're doing is you're reflecting that energy back to the sender, back to the source. Perhaps any evil, dark, malevolent energies back to the spirit.
I knew she was giving me this evil eye for protection, and I put it in my pocket and made a promise to myself that I would keep that in my pocket on my person when I came to work.
Aretta arrives for her shift the next day, optimistic that the stone might ward off any further encounters with the spirit.
How's it going? The patient in 24.
When I got back to work, I was told right away that the patient in room 24 had died.
He went into sleep. Thanks for letting me know.
She now worries if the patient's passing is connected to the frightening apparition she witnessed in his room.
And that was disturbing to me. It made me feel very uncomfortable. And it just got worse.
On her rounds a short time later, she discovers a new patient has already moved in to room 24.
They fill up very fast. There's a waiting list for small facilities like that, small hospitals. I was passing by and there was this incredible pool.
As it did earlier, room 24 seems to call to her.
Because of the things that had happened to me, I had to look in room 24. It looked like it was undulating, like a pixelation almost. It scared the hell out of me. I started to feel an instant paralysis in my total being. Felt it.
Protect me. Please protect me.
Saying a prayer, she fights against the paralyzing energy and moves forward.
God, please protect me.
I have to go in. It's my job to go in the room and make sure a patient is safe.
Please protect me. God, please protect me.
This was not his voice. I felt a sickness come through me, and it was like feeling death itself. I did not want to be in there. I did not want to be in the building. I just said, I'm done.
The closet door behind her suddenly opens on its own.
As I was approaching the closet door, I felt like I was going to throw up, literally. It was a feeling of wanting to just vomit everything that was within me. The moment I put my hand on the handle, everything changed. It was like I went into a paralysis. I was observing, but I felt like I couldn't actually move. There was something in it. I can't unsee what I saw, but I can tell you I never want to see it again in my life.
After witnessing terrifying paranormal events,
I felt a sickness come through me, and it was like feeling death itself.
nursing assistant Aretta Burkett
Actually looked like it was undulating.
encounters something that literally paralyzes her.
The moment I put my hand on the handle, everything changed. I was observing, but I felt like I couldn't actually move. What I saw in the closet, it was beyond perception. It was beyond what I could even explain. And that freaked me out. It felt like I was being defibrillated. I felt shocks go through me. It was sucking the life out of me.
The spirit might be pulling Aretta into this closet for the purpose of completely sapping her energy. You're stuck. You are in a full state of fear. And again, there's a lot of energy being expended with that fear and with that panic, energy that a spirit can feed off of.
I went back to something that my mother taught me when I was a little girl. She taught me to say, "I rebuke you, Satan." Getting out of the room. And that was it for me. I hauled ass down that hallway. I was finished. You couldn't ever pay me enough money to work in anything like that. Anything that haunted, anything that deplorable. This experience has changed my life in a tremendous, tremendous manner. I no longer am a skeptic of anything paranormal related. I do feel a sense of comfort in a way that there is something after this life that we continue, but it does scare me. There's no definitive answer. There's no handbook that says after you take your last breath, you're going to a happy place.
It's 2002 in Pennsylvania coal country. Joe Hawk has just started work as a security guard at a historic hospital.
I was a police officer for 15 years until I got injured in the line of duty in a training accident. I'm currently retired from the police position, and I worked security for one of the local hospitals.
Joe is working the overnight shift with a partner.
As a security officer of the hospital, we do tours, make sure everything was secure. We also were tasked with securing the hospital at night.
Too much coffee or what?
One night, soon after Joe starts the job, a routine shift becomes a disturbing experience.
Dispatch here. You hearing me?
10-4. It's Joe. What's up?
The dispatcher told us that she received a call.
There's a fire in the old file room.
Roger, we're on it.
But there's something strange about this report of a fire.
No alarms or anything were going off.
Ready?
So we unlocked the door, and as we tried to open it up, there was a little bit of resistance. We had to force our way in. The door was kind of almost like if something was up against it.
What the hell? I don't get it. Smell.
There was a smell of smoke.
It's electrical or something.
If anybody's familiar with a ballast, it's an electrical thing that actually ignites fluorescent lights. It has a distinct odor. That is what we smelled. We cut the power to it, and there was no further incident as far as that goes.
Dispatch, this is Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
Where'd that call originate from?
Yeah, Joe, I don't recognize the extension. Let me look it up.
10-4.
The extension did come up on her computer.
You're in the file room now, right?
Yeah?
Is there anyone down there with you guys?
No, we're alone.
Joe, that call came from the room you're in right now.
What? Roger, we're on it.
Hospital security guard Joe Hawk and his partner respond to an emergency call from a storage room. But when they arrive, no one is there.
Joe, that call came from the room you're in right now.
What?
It called from an extension that hasn't been used in the hospital for years.
I don't understand.
The phone was untouched, still dust on top of the phone. And not just that, the phone was actually unplugged. It wasn't even inside the extension. My partner and I kind of looked at each other and were totally baffled and taken back by this. It was just an absolute mind-blowing thing to happen.
Dispatch, can you tell me anything about the person that called?
Not much, just that he was male.
She said that a male had called in. After talking to some other individuals in the hospital about that room, we found out that there was one gentleman that was a caretaker for the hospital, that was his office.
They got a phone call that didn't seem to have any sort of natural origin to it. This phone call may actually have originated from the caretaker. It originated from his office, and it's very possible that it was his way of just continuing to care for the building and the people in it.
I thought that was strange, but that was just the beginning. One night I'm working night shift, my partner and I are coming off the elevator. As we turn the corner, there's a seating area.
Did you see something? I don't know, man. I thought I seen something.
There was an older gentleman sitting there with gray hair, like peppered hair. He had a plaid shirt on.
Hello?
There should have been no one at the building at that point in time.
Hello?
As we turned back to question him, the gentleman was gone.
Is anyone there?
I thought I'd seen something, I swear.
The seat itself actually had an indentation as if someone had just gotten up from it. He was there. I mean, he was absolutely, you could make him out, you could see detail on him. At that point, I knew the hospital was haunted.
As the morning arrives, Joe's shift comes to an end. But the strange experiences do not.
The final thing that happened to me at the hospital was one of the most intense things that I've ever experienced. We went outside, we're doing a patrol.
So many jobs a man can have, I don't know what in the world. Hold on.
All of a sudden we saw this mist appear. It actually went through him to the point where it actually brought him to his knees.
Are you okay, man? Can you breathe?
He didn't even say a word. He looked as though he was gasping for air.
Can you breathe?
He just started crying, and he certainly wasn't noted for that. It was almost like time slowed down.
What was that?
Okay, so what was the mist, and why do you think it chose your partner?
I'm not sure if it chose him or if that was the path. I think the path that the mist came down was the entrance to the old hospital. The hospital's several hundred years old. This hospital was tasked with the fact of taking care of the coal miners. Sometimes the coal miners would get injured so badly or even die that they would bring them to the hospital. A lot of times, they would actually just drop the patients off without even taking them inside the emergency department. So it would actually leave the bodies or the patients outside the doors and just kind of leave them because time was money.
The events that Joe reports throughout his short stay at this hospital seem to reflect something called residual energy, which is a replaying of events in the environment that have happened previously. It could have happened 10 minutes ago, it could have happened 100 years ago, but it seems to be in relation to the time period where the coal miners are actually present at the space.
You look at the history of the hospital, and over the hundreds of years that it's been there, coal miners were brought there, whether they had died there, whether they were brought there that they'd already passed. The energy at that hospital is just so great, and my assumption is that's probably what added to a lot of the incidents that happened there. I believe there are things that are just unexplainable, especially in the paranormal field. It's something not to take lightly. When I look back at my time at the hospital, I'm very happy that I had a chance to see something that most people have never experienced. It's an experience I'll never forget. It's an experience that I don't take lightly, and I appreciate my experiences there.
The very first time I sensed something was wrong, it was the lights.
Is anyone there?
This night pushed my limits of reality. I saw a black mass.
This thing was standing over top of her.
Can't you see her? She's holding your hand.
I just wondered what is going on.
I saw papers shooting out from printers.
And then all of a sudden, it jumped over the side.
I felt like I was in the middle of a scary movie that I didn't want to see.
You're not gonna scare me anymore.
It's 2016 in a small Canadian city. Jolene Coughlin is a personal support worker in a long-term care residence.
Helen, it's Jolene. How are you today? Fine. Well, you're getting pretty dry, Helen.
Personal support worker bathes, feeds, nurtures, provides emotional care. Sometimes you just sit and keep them company. I felt like I could make a difference in some of these people's lives.
Nice and cool.
Personal support worker is basically the eyes and ears of healthcare. We are there with them, washing them, feeding them, medicating them. I've been in a situation a few times where I've been with them taking their last breaths. It's very, very emotional, and sometimes it's very peaceful.
Get some cream on you here.
You take such good care of me.
Oh, you're so sweet.
I grew up in a very religious home. My dad was a preacher. I felt like after death, your spirit did go to a spirit world, but I wasn't ever really sure. Before I started working at the long-term care facility, I never ever had any experience with paranormal activity before, but that all very quickly changed.
Radiology, pick up line 2. Radiology, line 2.
The very first time I sensed something was wrong, it was the lights. I was at the end of a long corridor, and all the lights just started going on and off down the whole hallway. At first, you think somebody's flickering the lights and playing with you, but then I was just like, that was really strange.
Hello?
Everybody was supposed to be in bed. It was quiet. There was nobody walking around. I was the only one there. I wondered, what the hell is happening?
Hello?
Nobody was there.
Hello?
After that experience in the hallway, I just wanted nothing more than to just get out of there. But I had no idea that this was going to be an ongoing situation.
Hey, Jamal. Do you guys ever have any issues with the lights?
First time I heard any rumors of anything going on in this facility was when I approached the nurse about what had happened with the lights.
I was just in the corridor, and all the lights turned out, just all the way down the hallway.
And then they told me, well, didn't you know this building was haunted? I said, no.
What?
I had no idea.
Jolene now wonders if her experiences are more than mere electrical malfunctions.
Shortly after the lights started flickering, something else happened to me.
What do you want? What do you want?
I went into one of my patients' rooms.
What do you want? She's there. What does she want? What Helen, what are you doing out of bed? You're supposed to be in bed. Who is that? What do you want? There's no one there, Helen.
Yes, there's a girl.
She said, "Who's that little girl with you?"
There's no one there. It's
Can't you
okay.
see her?
I promise you there's no one there. It's just a bad dream, okay?
Totally creeped me out. And I said, "There's nobody with me." And she was adamant.
Here, we're gonna sit down on the bed. You feel it there? Perfect.
And what are you feeling at this moment?
I'm feeling extremely creeped out.
No.
Because I can't see what she's seeing.
Sometimes, you know, we have bad dreams and we see things. It's okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It's all right.
Is she there?
Don't be scared. There's nothing to be afraid of, okay?
I noticed in my peripheral, the light was going on and off like crazy. And then as soon as I turn around and look at it, it stops going off.
No, she was right there. She wants something.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'll be right back to check up on you, okay?
Okay.
Give me okay.
Jolene moves to investigate the source of the lights.
What does she want? Can't you see her? What does she want? Who is she?
Totally creeped me out. I didn't want to be in that room anymore.
Before leaving, however, she must make sure that her patient has calmed down.
Ah! Who is that? Who's the girl with you? Who is that? The girl is beside you. There's a little girl. What does she want? You can't see her? Can't you see her? She's holding your hand. She's right there. You're holding her.
I looked down, there was no little girl there.
What does she want?
Wondered what is going on.
Can't you see her? She's there.
Personal support worker Jolene Kuglin has experienced strange occurrences with lights.
Light was going on and off like crazy.
And after realizing that the hospital is haunted,
Girl is beside you.
encounters a patient
She said, "Who's that little girl with you?"
who claims to see someone she cannot.
You can't see her? Can't you see her? She's holding your hand. She's right there. You're holding.
I looked down, there was no little girl there. She was convinced that there was a little girl beside me.
Right there. What does she want?
Okay. Just try and get some sleep, okay? Try and get some sleep.
I do believe she saw something. I do believe she saw a little girl holding my hand.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm here. I'm here. I wouldn't ever let anything hurt you. You know that, Helen. Okay.
I didn't want to be in that room anymore. So I did just leave the room and go outside the door and just took a deep breath.
When was the next time you saw Helen?
I didn't see Helen after that. Helen had passed away, and it was very sudden too, because she was healthy.
Really?
Yeah, it was very shocking to actually a lot of us. I'm noticing when people are passing away, they see either family or other people.
Jolene finds comfort in believing that what her patient saw was a spirit from beyond, there to help her pass through death. Over the next few days, however, strange electrical events continued to occur.
Then it kept happening over and over and over everywhere I went. It was relentless that I just started to think, something's definitely going on with the electricity around me. So it was almost like I was being warned to pay attention or something.
At home, instead of finding refuge from the strange events at work,
Hey, what you working on?
Homework.
she finds something else.
What's going on?
Nothing.
There was no way that it could have been a coincidence.
Whoa.
All the things that were happening to me were all signs that a spirit or somebody or something was trying to connect with me.
Spirits interact with the lights deliberately in order to convey their presence, in order to signal that they are there. When a spirit is present, there's a kind of distortion effect, a field that's generated around them, which interferes with electrical equipment, whether that's the lights, televisions, radios, anything with a charge.
Morning, bud. Did you grab me some milk from the fridge?
Sure. My worry very quickly turned to fear. The refrigerator would keep shutting on and off.
Mom, what's wrong with the fridge?
My washer would stop with a full load in. It seemed like everything electrical. I feel like something left that facility with me, and it was everywhere, like everywhere.
What's going on? It's okay. We're all right.
My son was extremely nervous in the house.
Okay, let's go.
The last thing I wanted was for this thing to follow me home to my personal space where I lived and where my son was. But that's what happened. I just kept thinking, why is this happening to me? Why me? I started noticing dimes going up the stairs and down the stairs. There would be a dime just laying right in the open for you to see. They would be in the basement, and I would think they fell out of laundry. Outside my front door, there would be dimes. And I didn't even know that this was a way of spirits contacting you until I had Googled online of things that would happen if spirits are trying to reach you.
There has long been a connection between the spirit world and coins, and it's been theorized that this is because of the ancient tradition of placing coins on the eyes of the dead in order to pay the ferryman to take you across the River Styx to the land of the dead.
I was very overwhelmed, I was confused, I was scared, I was every emotion you can imagine. I just felt so helpless and like trapped almost. You don't know what it means, but you know it's something.
Back at work, that elusive something continues to leave signs of its presence.
Back at work, I started noticing the dimes just laying right in the open for you to see. I saw a little girl standing in the hallway. It was a moment of complete shock. Like, holy, what is happening? Who is this little girl?
Personal support worker Jolene Kuglin is pursued at work and home by an elusive spirit who causes strange electrical activity. She now finds herself face to face with the spirit.
I saw a little girl standing in the hallway. There was no denying it in that moment that it was something. And then it became very overwhelming because you don't know, is it a good spirit, is it a bad spirit, but it's definitely a spirit.
She has her very own psychic stalker. She kind of has a feeling that something's not right, but it's only when she realizes that wherever she goes, lights are dimming, brightening, flipping on and off, that she realizes something tangible is happening, that something is having an effect just a few steps right behind her.
The elusive spirit vanishes.
When I left the facility that night, after the hallway experience, I got in my car, was driving down the hill, and every streetlight above my car was going on as I was driving down the hill. I felt so isolated in this situation, and it was very overwhelming. and I went to my best friend's house.
Can I talk to you about something?
Sure. What?
There's just been some really weird things happening lately. It started at work.
And I had decided going there, okay, I'm gonna tell her what's happening, because I needed to know that I wasn't crazy.
And I think I brought it home with me, but the lights everywhere I go just keep flickering on and off.
Really?
It's all the time. It never stops. Please don't think I'm crazy.
Oh my God. You brought it here with you?
She was very concerned. She was very freaked out.
I'm so sorry. I have to go. I'm sorry.
I left her house and I got into my car and I backed maybe like 2 feet out of her driveway. And the neighbors' lights outside of their garage were just going crazy, flickering. The street light was kind of like the grand finale of just something like, listen, I'm here, pay attention.
Okay. Okay, I've had enough.
And I said, I have to do something about this.
Okay. I've had enough.
I decided to not let this entity control me and my home and my son.
You're not gonna scare me anymore.
The risk to confronting this spirit would be the same risk Jolene would have had if she had confronted a physical stalker. These can be unpredictable personalities, and you never quite know how they're going to react.
Okay, I'm done.
She set her boundaries and let the spirit know in no uncertain terms this was her home and that it was not welcome there.
What has changed now since these events?
Since I made the choice to not let it control me and my home and my son, things just died down. But every now and then, there's still dimes. I still, till this day, wonder who it was or what it wanted from me. All the things that were happening to me were all signs that a spirit trying to connect with me. I think sometimes after you pass on, I think some spirits stay with you because they're not ready to pass over.
It's 2007 in northwestern Georgia. 18-year-old Max Laird arrives for his first shift as a security guard at a decommissioned hospital.
It was my first overnight shift as security. I didn't know what to expect.
Okay, Max, you're gonna walk around every couple hours, 2-3 hours, just to make sure everything's okay?
When I got there, I was instructed of what my duties were for the night.
Elevator's locked down on 3 and 4.
Okay.
These keys will get you into every room. And if you have a problem, just give me a call.
Great, sounds good.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah, thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Yeah, you too.
My shift was between the hours of 5 p.m. and 7 a.m. I was supposed to investigate different parts of the hospital itself, and there were floors that are completely locked off that we weren't allowed to go on. I locked the door behind him. I was completely alone in this abandoned hospital.
As night falls, Max begins his hourly rounds of the empty building.
When you think of a hospital, you think of this giant building. But that's not what this hospital was. It was 5 floors. It was very small compared to the hospitals that people are used to nowadays. When you're in a security role, you definitely would need to be logical, level-headed. I definitely wouldn't say that I'm prone to being dramatic. But this night definitely pushed my limits of reality. I could hear water dripping. I couldn't understand where it was coming from. It hadn't rained that day. The bathroom was at the other end of the hallway. That I was hearing whispering.
Hello? Who's there? Security?
It did sound like a couple people. I knew that it was behind me, but then the next second I hear it coming from the other direction. I just couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
Is anyone there?
I heard footsteps coming from behind me. There's supposed to be nobody here. Once I cleared the corner and saw that there was nobody there, I started actually walking down the hallway very slowly, just making sure there was no sign of any sort of break-in, glass, or somebody forced their way in. All of the doors that were supposed to be locked were still locked. Did I hear it in the first place? Am I imagining it? I must be going crazy for a second. Being in a hospital all alone must be getting to me.
As the evening wears on, Max begins to put the strange noise behind him.
Then I realize it's time for another round. And I come across this open door. I had walked this hallway that night already. On each round, I'd grab each door handle and jiggle it to make sure each door is locked and closed. It should not have been open. There was no reason for it to be open. The only reasonable explanation is somebody was in that room. I honestly thought at any second I was gonna walk into a couple homeless guys trying to get out from the streets. I remember grabbing the door handle. I instantly felt like I started shaking. There was nothing.
Hello?
Nothing looked disturbed. There was no sign of anyone ever being in that room.
Is anyone here?
But the door was open. I am totally freaked out. I tried calling my supervisor.
Hi, you've reached Jim Nestor.
He didn't answer. While I needed to get a hold of him, I still needed to finish my routine. And I hit the 5th floor button.
Hi, you've reached Jim Nestor.
When going up to the 5th floor, the elevator would just pass by the 3rd and 4th. The 4th floor was medical billing, and the 3rd floor was the psych ward. Both of those floors were locked off. Even if you wanted to, you couldn't get onto these floors.
Hi, you've reached Jim Nestor at George.
remember looking back into the elevator, and I was on the 3rd floor. I am not on the right floor. I was completely dumbfounded. The floor was locked. I couldn't have gotten onto that floor if I tried. My trainer made that exact joke, but here I was standing in the middle of this psych ward that nobody was supposed to be on. Nobody had the keys except for the building owner. And then I heard talking, whispering. I looked around me, and every door was opening. There's no way that those doors could have been opened. I definitely felt like there was more than one person in this hospital with me.
At an abandoned hospital in northern Georgia.
Hello?
Newly hired security guard Max Laird is convinced that he is not alone.
I looked around me, and every door was opening. I have to make sure that no one's on this floor, because obviously this isn't right, this isn't normal, so something is going on. I never even considered the thought that it could be anything supernatural or paranormal. I heard something that made me stop in my tracks. It literally sounded like papers being sorted through or flipped through, like if you had a book and you were just flipping, trying to find the right page. But this must have been a really big book. I finally got to the door the sound seemed to be coming from. I saw papers shooting out from printers. All of these papers were just flying from the trays and landing on the floor. There's no power to this floor, it's only emergency lights. I couldn't explain it. I stood there in utter shock and disbelief. Nobody's probably even been in this room in at least a month since everyone cleared out from working here.
The paranormal and electronics has always been something that has been relatively related, and it's so fascinating to be able to sit back and observe in a lot of these cases, electronics or anything like that turning on and off. Sometimes you'll actually get ghost phone calls and strange things like that happening. So there's plenty of evidence to suggest that these entities actually can manipulate electronic devices.
I bent down and I picked up one of the papers. And it just had dots on it, like periods. It was like I was reading Braille. There's no rational explanation. I can't put into words what I was feeling or thinking at that exact moment because this was physically impossible. I felt like I was socked in the stomach. And that's when I turned and ran out of there. I saw a black mass go from one side of the doorway to the other. I didn't stop to look because I saw the figure and I had to get out of there. I dove into the elevator. I immediately started calling my supervisor. I had no cell service whatsoever. I finally did get a hold of my supervisor.
It's just hitting the fan. I have no idea what is happening.
What's hitting the fan? What are you talking about?
Doors are opening, there's noises. I don't know what is happening.
Do you hear yourself explaining to him?
I definitely know I sounded crazy in that moment. He said, "What are you smoking?"
No, I'm fine. I'm not on drugs. Everything is fine. There's just weird shit shit happening in this hospital.
He said to me, it's impossible to stop being paranoid and letting my imagination get the best of me. You only have a couple hours left. Man up, deal with it.
Man up.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Okay, sure.
Write it up for me in a report.
I had to finish. I needed the job. It's the only job I had. I needed to pay rent. I had to pay for food and gas and everything else. I couldn't just quit the only job that I have. I remember watching the clock and trying to count down every minute. I was trying to prolong doing my last round for as long as possible. But it was 4:45, and I had to make the one last trek around. When it comes to being alone in general, most people find it uneasy. Being alone in such a large building after all of this happened, it brings a new level of just feeling so alone. Yet again, I was stuck on a floor I wasn't supposed to be on. I was more than unnerved or scared. I had no air. I couldn't breathe. And the feeling that I had inside of me was like, that was it. That's how I died. I started actually walking down the hallway as if I was being drawn to something. I didn't feel like I was in control of my body. I remember thinking, oh my God, oh my God. But my feet kept moving. I was in the middle of a scary movie that I didn't want to see. And then I heard this loud crack. Almost like somebody had hit a baseball and the bat cracked. It was so loud I could actually feel the echoes down the hallway with me. It literally made me jump out of my skin. I felt a hot breath on the back of my neck. It was the scariest sound I've ever heard in my life.
During his first shift as a security guard at an abandoned hospital, Max Laird is confronted by a menacing presence.
I felt hot breath on the back of my neck. It was the scariest sound I've ever heard in my life. Every muscle in my body decided at that moment I was going to be a track star. I didn't go to the elevator. I hit the stairs. And I probably cleared those 3 flights of stairs in about 2.5 seconds. I left out the front door as fast as I could. I left everything as it was. I didn't grab the keys. I didn't lock anything up. I dove in my car and sat there for the remainder of my shift until the next guy came in. There was no way I was ever stepping foot back in that hospital, ever. Prior to that experience, I was pretty skeptical when it came to the paranormal. But after having that experience, there was no doubt in my mind, I believed in the paranormal. Atlanta and the surrounding areas in Georgia are definitely known for all of the wars that have happened on their soil. That site actually used to have a military hospital on it. It wasn't the exact building, but it was the same ground, the same soil. I believe that there was a lot of energy that had just combined and accumulated over the years. So it creates a layering effect that there's this tragedy with blood and this tragedy on blood, and it keeps getting higher and higher with all the things that are happening. This experience changed my way of thinking entirely. I've never experienced anything so terrifying.
It's 2010 in Calgary, Alberta. Oncology nurse Joshua Smith is working at a large city hospital.
Hey, how you feeling? You okay? I'm a bedside nurse. I work in an oncology medical unit. So you would have people with various cancers that have various problems. Maybe they're having chemotherapy or radiation of some type. We're gonna take care of you. It's a sad place at times, but it's also a really good place. You as a nurse can help them, not only with their pain, but also make them feel good. Yeah. That's what I love about nursing. When I first started working there, it was just a normal unit. Everything was good. Then all of a sudden, a couple years into it, these different events happened. Very unexplained things, and I don't know what was really going on at the time.
Dr. Schechter, please report to oncology. Dr. Schechter to oncology.
The first thing that happened to me, I was walking along, I had my clipboard, everything was fine, I was just making sure things were getting done. There was nobody else in the hallway, it was very quiet. Then all of a sudden, towards my left side, I just saw something float by. And I was like, what the heck is this? I didn't know what I was seeing. It was slow, sparkly thing just floating along. And then it went towards the door. It went through the door. I still can't believe it did it. Like, it went through like it was nothing there. All the hair on the back of my neck stood up.
Oncology nurse Joshua Smith sees a sparkling apparition that he cannot explain.
Just retelling it, I can feel that anxiety right now.
Because it went through the door.
It went totally through the door. I still can't believe it did it. Like, it went through like it was nothing there. And nothing was there.
The strange light being has completely vanished.
It just totally boggles my mind. I still can't believe it. It was very disturbing to me when I first saw it.
The sparkling that Joshua saw when he observed this figure may have been the electromagnetic equivalent of the wake that a ship leaves behind it as it passes through the water. Not the entity generating this energy itself, but that's an interaction between it and the atmosphere, the environment surrounding it.
After that, I was trying to think to myself, trying to get my wits about me, trying to figure this out because, like, who do you talk to? Who do you tell?
You okay?
Yeah, just, you know, stressed a bit from work.
I have no idea what was going on, right? And where did it come from? I really didn't know what to do at the time.
A few minutes later, Joshua's strange experiences continue.
I went to see a patient on one side of the facility. She was expected to pass away soon. We wanted to make her comfortable. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Somebody was there that was all in black.
The dark figure moves in the direction of the patient's bedroom.
Hey! And I actually quickly ran in there.
Hey! Hey!
This thing was standing over top of her. Whatever was standing over her was not human. I was scared for her. I couldn't get it through my mind that something was there but wasn't.
Although Joshua saw a cloud of sparkling particles and then a shadowy figure, doesn't mean these were two different entities or two different phenomena. This could easily have been the same spirit being at different stages of its manifestation.
She was there comfortable. Medically, she's stable, but she did pass away after a couple of days. Now I know that there's something going on. There's 2 incidents now that I've actually had.
Were you scared? What?
I was scared. I didn't know if I was going insane. I truly thought I was starting to lose it. I thought maybe all these years I've been working on the unit has actually done something towards me that maybe it's time to leave the profession. That's what I was thinking at the time. The next thing that happened was very terrifying. And even now, when I'm thinking about it, I just don't know what exactly happened. I saw this woman. Even now, I can feel the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Don't stop me.
The waves of her voice was coming towards me.
Nothing left. I have no one. I'm so
And then all of a sudden, it jumped over the side. She was not there. Nothing was there.
She disappeared.
She disappeared. It was one of the most intense, scariest moments of my life. When you have an event like that in any type of trauma, you're trying to play it through your mind, but it doesn't make any sense.
Don't know what it was. I don't understand what's happening.
I actually talked to another nurse that actually works on the unit as well. As I was talking to her, telling her about what I've seen,
There, and then the body disappeared?
she started looking a lot more stressed out about this.
I have to tell you something.
And she said, actually, I know somebody that was security there. And she said there was an incident a week earlier.
He said that earlier this week, the exact same thing happened. There was a woman and she tried to kill herself.
What? Are you serious?
The exact same way you described it.
She was totally in shock that I knew what had actually happened. What I witnessed was something that only a few people actually saw.
I don't understand.
As I realized at that moment that I actually witnessed a paranormal event, that I actually saw a ghost or something like that repeating itself, going through the motions of what happened a week earlier.
Oh my God.
This is a classic example of a residual haunting. It's a type of natural film, if you will. It's no more real than the faces on your TV right now. It's a recording. These types of recording can actually be seen hundreds of years after the actual incident took place, depending upon how much energy went into imprinting it. The more violent the experience was, the more traumatic an incident we're dealing with, the stronger and deeper an imprint it will leave.
I still can't believe that actually happened to me. One strange event you can write off, but a second, third, it's hard to really write off. I realized that this hospital is haunted.